Dr. John Brownstein. He is the Chief Innovation Officer at Boston Children's Health and, of course, an ABC News medical contributor. Dr. Brownstein, thanks so much for joining us. So we've got these two big developments over the past couple of days. First, we learn, of course, the CDC estimates 75% of children in America have already been infected with COVID. And now, of course, this news from Moderna that they're requesting FDA authorization for its coronavirus vaccine for children under 6. Just big picture, what are parents supposed to make of these developments?
Right. These are two potentially opposing findings, but what we have to remember is that the study didn't say that 75% of kids have protection against reinfection. And I think that's really important to note. There's still not a lot of information about reinfection and how long that protection from natural infection lasts. We know a lot more about the immunity that's generated from vaccines. And so vaccines continue to still be the most important weapon we have to protect ourselves against COVID.
Moderna's asking the FDA to give this emergency authorization for the youngest age group, all the way down to 6 months old even. They still haven't received approval for older children here. Do you think that that's going to have any kind of impact on the chances that they're going to get this authorization? Especially if we're also waiting for Pfizer to potentially apply for authorization, and they have approval so far all the way down to 5 years old.
Right. I understand that these different approvals, authorizations get a little bit confusing. But what we have to remember is we have to let the data still drive those decisions. And that's why essentially it's taken so long to get these data and get to a place where the FDA can authorize. I think it's all about the data, and the data still needs to be peer reviewed. But ultimately, if it suggests, as we think, that this vaccine will provide adequate protection in our kids, it will get authorized regardless of the sort of availability of data in the slightly large, in those older kids. And so I think what we have to remember is the data is showing to be very strong, but also no reported cases of myocarditis or serious adverse events. And that's really what you want, a safe and effective vaccine. Yes, we're waiting for the Pfizer data. That's going to be a 3-shot vaccine. We still don't have that data. It may prove to be similar in terms of efficacy to Moderna, but I don't think there's a point in waiting. There are so many parents that are looking for that vaccination, regardless of Moderna, Pfizer. These are very similar vaccines.
Dr. Brownstein, shifting gears just a little bit away from COVID, because we know there's a number of different issues parents need to be aware of. We know that people are hearing about this mysterious strain of hepatitis that's been circulating in a number of countries, at least 12 of them. And then today there is news of the first suspected death from the illness of a child here in the U.S. in Wisconsin. Can you just tell us what we know about this strain and what parents need to know about it?
Right. Well, first of all, there shouldn't be cause for major panic around parents. The numbers are still very low. Over 160 cases. Clearly, it's severe acute hepatitis, which is concerning because this is inflammation of the liver, likely caused by viruses, but potentially medications or even toxins. What we think it's likely driven by a form of virus, adenovirus, because what we've seen is outbreaks of adenovirus have been coinciding with these severe acute hepatitis cases. And it is concerning, but parents should just be on the lookout for symptoms. Ultimately, these are very rare cases.
Coming out of these past couple of years of the pandemic, Doctor, I'm just curious, is there any concern that parents, having just seen what COVID-19 has done, are going to overreact to any kind of small outbreak that we see?
Trevor, I think you're absolutely right. I think that there is a real concern about any event taking place in any part of the world that people will assume that it ultimately causes a global pandemic. I think that's true for adults and for kids, but we have to sort of balance that with not, creating mass hysteria. A small cluster of cases should not, create major panic.
We certainly hope that's the case. Dr. John Brownstein, we always appreciate your perspective. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.